Hello, Guardians and Gamers, and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be going over my rendition of the Solar Titan build with the Pyrogale gauntlets and how it's going to be working out. So first off, starting off with the subclass, we've got a Burning Ball. So this is the main part that works with the Pyrogale gauntlets. I've gone with the towering barricade because it always helps quite a bit, whatever jump you want. Now, I use throwing hammer. I also use hammer strike because I hate chasing my throwing hammer around. Plus, I'm not really that good with hitting my targets. I mean, I probably, it's a 50-50 if I hit whatever I'm throwing it at. Next up, we got solar grenades. This can also be switched out with something like a healing grenade. If you think that you need it, if you're in some higher end content, you might need a healing grenade, but the way this build is set up, really, you probably should not need it. Next up for the aspects, we got consecration. This is another aspect that is going to work with your Pyrogale gauntlets. So while sliding, activate your charged melee ability to launch a wave of solar energy forward, damaging and scorching targets in front of you as you leap into the air. So while airborne, activate your charged melee again to slam to the ground and create a second larger wave of damaging solar energy. If the wave hits the scorched targets, they ignite. So you're going to slide, you're going to hit that button, your melee button while you're sliding. You're going to jump up. If you don't hit it again, you're just going to do like a uppercut to your enemies, which will ignite them or scorch them, or it can spread scorch. While you're in the air, if you hit your melee button again, you're going to slam to the ground, which is going to create a whole lot of fury. You're going to scorch targets with how do I put it? Fire, tornado, hurricane type thing. So that one is absolutely amazing. Moving on, we've also got Sol Invictus. Sol Invictus also works absolutely amazing with those sunspots. So solar ability, final blows like Hammer of Sol, Hammer of Sol impacts, and defeating scorched targets creates sunspots. So you can constantly create sunspots. Your abilities regenerate faster, and your supers drain more slowly while standing in a sunspot. So sunspots apply scorch and deal damage to targets inside. Entering a sunspot applies restoration. And it is absolutely amazing how you're able to extend those abilities of staying alive with how everything else applies as well. So moving on to fragments, we've got Ember of Searing, Ember of Char, Ember of Solace, and Ember of Mercy. So Ember of Searing, defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates fire sprites. Next up, we've got your Solar Ignition spreads scorch to affected targets. Ember of Solace, radiant and restoration effects applied to you have increased duration. And Ember of Mercy, when you revive an ally, you and others nearby allies gain restoration. Picking up fire sprites grants restoration as well. So you're able to you'll see you're able to create the sunspots as well as create fire sprites within those sunspots as well, depending on the weapons that you are using. For our armor, on our headpiece, I mean, depending on what you've got for your armor and your stats already, it's going to depend on what you go with mods, whether it's resilience, recovery, discipline, or, whatever you need. I've put everything out so that I was almost able to get trip 100s. It was really close. I'm 1 point off a trip 100. So moving on, I've got on the headpiece Hands On, which gain bonus super energy on those melee kills. So like I said, when you're using that melee, you're able to keep yourself alive, even if you just want to throw your hammer at something, or if you're using your other one, you can run around and charge into things. That's also considered a melee. Next up, we've got 2 harmonic siphons. So rapid solar weapon final blows create orbs of power. So you get those rapid weapon final blows, whether it's with your heavy or it's with your energy weapon, you're going to those orbs of power. Next up for the gauntlets, the Pyrogale gauntlets, which I wish I had a little bit better rolls on, but it is what it is. We've got melee kickstart, so your armor, or when your melee energy is fully expended, your armor charge is consumed and you gain a melee energy for each armor charge used. So that's going to give you your melee back a whole lot quicker. So you're able to create those orbs of power. You're able to pick them up and you're able to keep everything charged. Make sure you're picking up those orbs. I've also added heavy handed. So your powered melee final blows also create orbs of power. So that doubly works out for picking up those armor charges. Next up for the chest piece, I've gone with harmonic resistance. So that's going to give you a little bit of resistance to some of the incoming fire damage. We've also got charged up, which increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge that you can carry. So usually it is only you can carry 3 armor charges. This is going to allow you 4 armor charges. And if you're able to, you're also, these do stack. So then you can boost them up to 5 armor charges, which will help out quite a bit with getting some of those other abilities back a whole lot quicker. For the leg armor, we've got recuperation, so replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power. So those orbs are really doing a lot of work for you. We've also got invigoration, so reduces melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power as well. And we've also got solar weapon surge. This is another one I wanted to point out. So your solar weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have an armor charge. Your armor charge now decay over time. So using any of your surges, whether it's 1, 2, 3 of them, which do add up quite a bit, you do have to have all 3 of those armor charges full, and then they will decay over time. Which brings us into our class item. I've gone with Outreach, so reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability. And I'm also putting on Time Dilation, so your decaying armor charge has a longer duration. The next up is Bomber, so reduces that grenade cooldown when using your class ability. Like I said, with the Time Dilation, with using your solar weapon surges, it's going to give you a longer period of time where you're able to have that damage bonus, whether it's using your heavy weapon or it's using your energy weapon. And hopefully you're using something that's solar, because it does work together quite well. Next up, we also have the artifact mods. So whatever you want to go with for your barrier or for your champs over here, it's kind of up to you guys. I really wish that sidearm wasn't a thing this season for anti-barrier. It's kind of a pain. But moving on, second column, flame, fiber, and freeze. So combines a solar strand and solar siphon, solar strand and solar stasis siphon mods into one. You got kindling trigger. So radiant causes solar weapons to apply scorch to unscorched combatants. So if you notice, once radiant does up and you're shooting more ads, it'll apply scorch. Ads will blow up, which spreads scorch to other ads. They ignite, they blow up. It's an absolutely amazing, beautiful symphony of explosions. A lot of fire sprites left behind. Multi-kills also means more orbs of power left behind. It's absolutely amazing. I've also put on blast radius. So this is going to be something else that is going to give you armor charges. So rapid final blows with rocket launchers and grenade launchers grant armor charges. So definitely something else that is going to give you armor charges that you can consume in different ways. And we also have From Whence You Came. So increased ability damage to Taken and Scorn combatants. This really helps out. I hate dealing with the Scorn and I hate dealing with the Taken, especially those little scions that dodge all over the place and you can never hit the bloody things. Next up, we got Flint Strikers. So rapid solar weapon precision hits and rapid solar weapon final blows grant radiant. Like I said, if you get those rapid precision final blows, you're able to get radiant instead of using fragment that's going to make you radiant on melee hits. Just getting the rapid hits is going to give you radiant, and then radiant will spread scorch to getting more of those solar kills. Next up, we've also got Heart of the Flame. So casting your solar super grants nearby allies radiant. So whether most people are using this, so whether you're a hunter, you're a warlock, or you're a titan, this is going to make people nearby radiant as well, which is a big bonus to a lot of the damage. So casting your solar super grants nearby allies radiant and increases the damage of your solar super for each nearby ally. Absolutely awesome. You can put out a lot of damage. Moving on, the fourth column, Revitalizing Blast. So causing damage with a solar ability weakens champions and bosses for a short duration. So if everybody is using this in their artifact, it does weaken and it does stack to weakening for a longer period of time. The last column, I've gone with Raised Precision. So while radiant solar precision final blows cause combatants to ignite. So ignite, scorch, things blow up, create fire sprites, create orbs of power. It's beautiful. So Argent Ordnance is another one. So firing a rocket launcher consumes 1 stack of armor charge, granting increased damage and reload speed until you reload or store your rocket. Now, there is another one here that does work really well is Torch. So while Radiant dealing increased weapon damage to combatants affected by strand or stasis. While Radiant dealing increased weapon damage to combatants affected by strand and stasis debuffs. Basically, it just stacks more damage if you have somebody that is able to debuff whatever you're trying to damage with strand or radiant. So do that little flick, or having a titan throw something at them, or a grenade, or whatever is going to affect them will also stack that damage as well. Going over the weapons that I'm going to say, this is in my opinion, are really going to bring this build together and how they're really going to work. It's absolutely fun to play with different weapon combinations, but these are the ones that I'm going to pick out. It's up to you guys what you want to go for. Some people don't do raids or dungeons, so maybe some of the weapons you aren't able to get. But I am going to point out which ones I do believe will help out. So starting off with our kinetic weapons, we've got the Lingering Dread. Lingering Dread is also from the Duality Dungeon. I've gotten this with Disorienting Grenade, Ambitious Assassin, and Demolitionist. So Demolitionist is going to help you get your grenade back a whole lot quicker. Ambitious Assassin is going to overflow the magazine based on the number of rapid kills before reloading. So I love using the disorienting grenades. Are these the absolute god roll for this? I would like auto-loading holster. When you do switch weapons and switch back, it's already preloaded, so you just pop another disorienting grenade, switch weapons. You're able to say use Zayuli's Bane, which has got the explosive payload as well as incandescent. You're going to spread scorch ignites other enemies, and up they go, which creates more fire sprites and also will create sunspots. Other weapons in the kinetic slot that are going to be absolutely awesome this season for another sidearm. The Buzzard. is going to help out. Wish Under, definitely for those barrier champs. Rufus's Fury auto rifle is absolutely one of my favorite auto rifles in the game. I do a lot of stuff with it. Suggest people to get it if you can craft it. Absolutely awesome. Whatever rolls you're going to get for it work perfectly as well. But this is from the Root of Nightmares. Another one is a Bad Juju. So if you want to, I'm going to put these out there. If you want to run an exotic or a legendary, they're just different combinations of the weapons and slots. So Bad Juju, you do get increased damage, and it does grant super energy, so you'll be able to smash things a whole lot quicker as well. Another one is Suros Regime. This thing absolutely claps, and it also regens your health on damage or kills. Next up, I've got Ranghild with auto-loading 1-2 punch. So this is another one that will work with shooting your other weapons. When you switch back, it will be loaded again. So you can shoot, punch, shoot, punch, shoot, punch, shoot, punch, and it's fun. Next up, we've also got the Forerunner. Forerunner is another exotic weapon, uses special ammo. We've also got the Izanagi's Burden. So if you want to put out some big number damage, you can hit them up with that super and do the hot swap thing back and forth. Say you throw on Apex Predator and you throw on Izzy, you can hot swap back and forth. This has got bait and switch. You hit him a couple times with this, switch back to that, hit him a couple times with this, switch back to that, hit him with that, switch back to this. The combination is absolutely awesome for putting out some really big damage numbers. We've also got Conditional Finality, because why not? It's really fun to freeze big things, pop them, they light up. It's really fun. It also is an absolute terror in PvP. This build does work with PvP. It's nothing like coming around a corner and getting smashed by a charged Titan melee, which is perfect. So moving on to our energy weapons, like I said, Zeruli's Bane. If you're able to craft this explosive payload incandescent, absolutely brilliant for this weapon. It does all with a lot of other roles if you haven't got it crafted yet. But this is another one from the King's Fall raid. Next up, we got Polaris Lance. People are using this season because it works with barriers, and it also works with unstop. So you've got two champs in one with one weapon, getting those precision hits. Also make explosions with spread Scorch, which spreads Ignite, which makes also more explosion. We've also got Vex Mythoclast added in here as well. And a lot of people say, I've ran Vaults of Glass 60, 70, 80 times. You know, it could be the 200th time of running Vault of Glass until you get Vex Mythoclast. It just depends how your RNG is for that raid. Doing the triumphs for the raids do help out, as well as running them multiple times on each character. Next up, we've also got Hierarchy of Needs, which is from the Spire of the Watcher. I was playing with this thing earlier. Absolutely amazing for creating a lot of random explosions and just devastating everything in sight, especially when you can pop up that ring or pop up a dual ring, and it's really fun. We've also got Sunshot. Sunshot, it just claps. If I say, if you're using a different weapon in a different slot, or a different exotic in a different slot, you can't use Sunshot. Use Zeuli's. It works perfect. We've also got Acacia's Dejection, another Root of Nightmares, Reconstruction, Incandescent. Incandescent makes things blow up, spreads Scorch, creates fire sprites. Alice Mini Tool with Grave Robber Incandescent, another great weapon to play around with. Trusty, this is from Deepstone Crypt, Reconstruction Incandescent. I love using this in PvP as well as PvE. It amazing scout rifle. Next up, we've also got Abyssal Defiant. So you could do two things with this as well. Reconstruction and Incandescent on it. So when you do swap, it is going to put ammo back into the weapon for you. But when you do get those kills or you do get those precision shots, you are going to make things explode. But if you punch something or you do your slide melee and your jump and slam for a short time, you're also going to get the cursed thrall perk to activate on this weapon, which when you kill another enemy, it's going to explode and spread that explosion. But it's a green cursed thrall hive explosion. It's actually pretty cool to use. I absolutely love this weapon. It is from Crota's End. Pick it up, definitely craft it. Next one we've got from the Nightfalls, the wild style grenade launcher. If you want to switch these around in this slot, you can also use disorienting grenade if you want to put something else in this slot. For example, conditional finality or whatever you want. You can put Wish Ender here and use this. You're going to be able to blind those enemies. Anyways, moving on. We've got our power weapons to go over. Dragon's Breath. So not only does Dragon's Breath work amazingly on boss damage, it clears ads and just leaves behind ways to heal yourself ridiculously. Like if you have, 10, 20, 30 ads in a group and you're able to just wipe them all out, you get the Scorch with ignition, and it creates fire sprites and sunspots, and you'll be able to love it. Next up, like I said, Apex Predator, bait and switch puts out a lot of damage. The Lament puts out a lot of damage. You do that swipe, heavy swing combo, guard, swipe, heavy attack, and that does that super heavy attack combination for it, and then it's swipe, heavy attack, and you do that combination anyways. We also got Cataclysmic Linear Fusion Rifle with 4th times the charm, as well as bait and switch. This thing also puts out a lot of damage. Hezin's Vengeance, another legendary rocket launcher. Cluster Bombs Overflow. You can get this with, I do believe you can get it with Incandescent as well. Whisper of the Worm is back and doing a lot of damage on certain bosses, like Oryx in King's Fall, the Meatball in Warlord's Ruin, Crota in Crota's End. It really is doing a lot of work again. I love that whatever they did to this thing, whether they buffed it or it's just the buffs to Radiant and so on, but this thing really stacks very well. Another Root of Nightmares weapon, Briar's Contempt Linear Fusion Rifle, Reconstruction, Focus Fury. This thing puts out a lot of damage as well, works really well with your solar build. And Cry Mutiny. This thing was hot garbage during the season that it first came out. I did use it. I just like making ads blow up and go all over the place. But it actually, for some odd reason, like I said, I do believe it's just with the buffs they have done to Radiant. I don't think they specifically buffed this weapon, but it is doing amazing damage on a lot of bosses, as well as it clears ads. You can get that Scorch and leave behind all of that stuff to be able to keep you alive. We've also got Sleeper Simulant, works on a lot of bosses. If you're in a group, you got Div, couple of people using this. You can put out some really high damage numbers. And just for the haha funny, we've got the Heir Apparent. This thing is a really fun weapon to use. You get it spinning and then you shoot, but it's absolutely amazing for clearing ads. I haven't even tested it if it's good for boss damage, but it is fun to use. So these are some of the weapons that I am pointing out that I think go really, really well. The big ones are like the Lingering Dread. You're able to disorient enemies, helps out the group that you're in. Really good for that ad control. You'll be able to blow them up, spread that Scorch, create things to keep you alive. I absolutely love it. Everyone, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button. Come check us out live. Come join the Discord. Everything is right on my channel. Until next time, be safe and take care.